Welcome everyone out to West Lawrence High School here with head coach Kagan McLean, and we're talking football at West Lawrence. And you know, so far we're 4-3, coach, on the season. We're 2-0 in the region. Looking back, coach, when the season started, is this about where you thought you would be?
Well, I mean, the region record definitely where I hoped we would be. I don't know if it's where I thought we would be. We lost a lot of kids off last year's team, and I thought that, you know, after 2 games in the region, if we could be 2-0 with a winning record, you know, I'd feel pretty good, and I do. You know, it hadn't always been pretty, but kids have played hard, and some of those new guys have stepped up, and I'll take the 2-0 region record for sure.
Yeah. Well, coach, you look at it, and people say, well, you know, we didn't do this, and we were, you know, this close on several games. You know, start of the year. You know,
right.
Should have done this, should have done that. Where's the trick plays? Where's this? Where's that? But coach, when it comes down to it, you don't show all your hand, because all that matters is what you're doing in the region. And again, you're 2-0 in the region. You couldn't ask for more right now.
Yeah, you know, I tell those kids, and we kind of preach it. I said those non-region games are preseason games. I mean, we're in there, we're just getting ready. You know, we're finding out who we are, what we can do, what kind of team we are, so that when those ones that count happen, you know, we got all our cards ready to go. You got a full deck on hand.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, you know, people say things. I mean, you can't rely on trick plays to win games.
Right.
You got to have stuff like that. But the bottom line is you got to play good football. You got to be sound. You got to swarm on defense, tackle. You got to block on offense. And if you can get those fundamentals cleaned up, again, we got a lot of kids out there who are starting football games on Friday night for the first time this year. You know, we lost 15 out of 22 starters last year.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with where we are right now. And has it been perfect? No. Has it been pretty all the time? No. But we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah. And coach, you know, that armchair quarterback is 99.9% accurate.
Yeah, well, of course he is. That's right.
Over.
That's right.
Yeah, it's easy to second guess.
Hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yeah, it always is. But coach, right now you just led me into a question. Who are you? Who is West Lawrence football right now? Offensively, who are we and what are we best at?
Well, what we want to do is we want to be able to control the line of scrimmage and run the football. That's the first thing we want to be able to do. But we want to be balanced enough that we don't have to just rely on that. We need AJ to be able to throw the ball, you know, 10 to 20 times a game, depending on what the defense is giving us, and soften it up a little bit so we can run. A good example is this past Friday. You know, Spalding decides they weren't going to honor our passing game at all, and they're just going to play man coverage the whole night with no safeties in the middle of the field, and we weren't able to beat those athletes out there, and so it kind of put us to be very one-dimensional. But luckily, our guys up front did a great job of blocking, and we were able to get 200 yards rushing, and that kind of opened some things up for us. But you know, that's what we want to do offensively. We don't really have those skill guys out there that we can throw it 30, 40 times a game. You know, we don't win a lot of one-on-ones out there on the edges. Offensively, but I think if we can be physical up front, if we can be strong, and if we can just move the chains, I think we'll be okay offensively.
Yeah. All right, Coach, who's grown up the most for you this year on offense?
I'd say the quarterback, definitely AJ, being a 10th grader.
Yeah.
As far as growing up, you know, he got a few reps as a 9th grader last year, but I mean, the kid's a sophomore. You know, he's 15 years old, and he's out there on Friday night in that fire with 17, 18, and sometimes 19-year-olds, you know, depending on where you are. But I think he's grown up a lot, and he's done a good job. He's managed the game, especially running the football. You know, AJ's become a running threat for us, which opens up a whole lot of things offensively. He doesn't have to just beat you with his arm. He can pull the ball and run it and be athletic out there. And that's what we need out of AJ. And we just need to make good decisions, not throw interceptions, and be smart. And he's done that for the most part this year.
Yeah, and that's probably the most noticeable in watching the game, no doubt, on AJ. Who else besides that have you seen good growth in?
Dorian Edmonds, the running back. You know, Dorian did not play hardly any last year. He was a backup, a JV kid. You know, he's a junior, so we'll have him back again next year. And he jumped right into that starting role. You know, following Darius Bradford's tough. You know, we had a kid for 4 years that is as good a running back as I've ever coached. And you didn't have to block a lot for Darius. You just hand him the rock, and he'll knock 2 or 3 guys around and gain yards. And Dorian's not quite that guy. He's more of a slasher. He doesn't have that breakaway speed, but he's averaged, you know, over 100 yards rushing this year per game, and had 150 this past week. So, you know, he's definitely grown up a lot for us and been a big part of what we do. And that offensive line, too. You know, we only brought back 2 starters on the O-line, and they've done a great job. And those young guys in there have grown up and are really starting to learn what it means to be physical down in the trenches.
Yeah, so we had to come with a sub. You brought in the Butler kid to block this past week. It was necessary because of an injury.
He had an injury, right. And
Miguel
Miguel did a great job. You know, Miguel practices offensive line, but he's primarily a defensive lineman. He's our starting D lineman on our JV, and practices over there, but hadn't played much O-line. You know, but he's the most physical kid we had left. And so my thing is, look, he may not know exactly what to do. We can coach him what to do, but we can't coach heart and we can't coach effort. And he's got heart and he's got effort.
Man.
So if we can just point him in the right direction, he'll be okay. And he did a great job.
Yeah, it'll
and
come.
I'd rather take a kid that will come off the ball and hit, and maybe he doesn't know what to do. You know, our job as coaches is teach you what to do. But if I have to teach you heart and I have to teach you effort, I mean, you're not going to be very good.
Yeah. Coach, let's jump over on the other side of the ball now. You had a young kid over at Dacus, filled in for Abram Morrow for what, 2 or 3 weeks now?
Definitely, yeah, for most of the year.
And he's put his head in there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done a great job. Spencer's a sophomore, Spencer Dacus, who's played nose for us, filled in for Abram, done an outstanding job. He's a physical kid. He's strong. Again, he's the type of kid we just threw in the fire and said, look, we're going to live or die with you. And he's gotten there and absolutely been tremendous for us. You know, he graded out higher than all our D linemen last week.
Awesome.
And he's just a kid that you point in the right direction, he goes. And he's going to make mistakes. He's going to jump off sides, and he's going to do those things from time to time. But he's a 10th grader, and he's getting invaluable experience this year.
Yeah, so what's going to happen? Morrow's going to be back in the next week or two. We've been hearing that for a week or two, but is it looking more promising?
Right now, Morrow, he's been in practice. He will put the pads on and hit next week, and the doctor said he's cleared to go, and Abram's ready to go. So the plan is he'll be back in the middle next week, and Spencer's earned the right to rotate a couple of those other positions out there because you know, no position is safe. I don't care what, you know, what you've done or who you are. If you don't produce, I'm going to find somebody else.
Doesn't that make you feel good, Coach, for a kid to work hard and work himself into where he's able to get reps, if not take a position?
Definitely, and he's earned that right, and we're going to give him that opportunity. You know, we don't play favorites, and I know most coaches don't, but you know, our jobs are on the line. I'm going to put the best 11 out there. I don't care who they are or what they've done or whatever. You know, if you're one of the best 11, I'm gonna find a place for you to play on that defense, and he's earned that right, and so we're gonna give him that opportunity.
So what do we work on in looking at the last game? Because you know we had some excellent competition in receivers. Our secondary really was tested this past week. You know, there's two things about it, Coach. When you look at secondary, if you got good receivers, if your secondary is going to be challenged, well, there's one way. They can step up, or on top of that, you get more pressure up front. You got to put more pressure in the backfield. Quarterback can't have all day to throw. That's why we call it a team.
That's right.
It's not 7-on-7. It's not 1-on-1.
Right. Well, you know, the best coverage in football is a sack. You know, and that's what we tell them. You know, if you get a sack, there's no coverage better than that. But and that's our philosophy. We're going to mix in. We're going to drop 8 in the coverage sometimes, and then we're going to send the house sometimes, and try and put some pressure on the quarterback so he doesn't know when it's coming. I think if you're one-dimensional and you're dropping 8 every time, or you're blitzing every time, it gets pretty obvious what you're doing. But we try to mix it up. And our DBs, they were stride for stride with a great receiver all night Friday. And the kid just went up and made plays. And you tip your hat to him. And there were a lot of times we double covered him to stop that. But you know, we can't double cover him every play. We're down a hat in the box. They're going to run the ball on us. But we were able to mix in some double coverage on him, mix in some pressure, mix in some drop 8. And he caught a lot of balls on us. And you know, but our DBs were in position. They just weren't able to make a play. When that happens, like you said, we got to do something else. We got to get some pressure on the quarterback. We got to get another safety over the top. We got to do something to help him out. And we just couldn't do it all game. And I tip my hat to the kid. He made a lot of great plays.
He did. And they caught the long ball, Coach, but it seems like when the field was short, they couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically drop back, throw it as far as you can, and let him run, and he did it. You know, and so I mean, I'm not knocking it. But yeah, we did it. I thought the game was a lot like the Dodge game. I thought for 80% of the game we played really good on defense, but that 20% we were giving up points, and that's the problem. You know, if you make a mistake. You know, make a mistake and get them on the ground, and let's make them snap it again. We were making mistakes for touchdowns, and when you do that, when you go up 3 touchdowns, you know, just because of errors on your own part, it's kind of disheartening. And that's what we did. We gave up 3 that were just busted reads, or somebody not doing their job, or somebody up front just being soft, not being physical. And that was the thing we harped on film. We kind of hang our hat on being physical, and I thought defensively up front, there were about 10 or 15 plays where I thought we were just flat out soft. And if you do that versus good teams, they're going to make you pay. And Spalding, you know, they made us pay.
Yeah. But came away with a win, and we're going to get to some footage in just a moment, Coach. But as we look through the game, you know, and as we look through the season so far, you know, you got to look at special teams as well.
Our special teams was outstanding Friday, I thought. Now, we did miss a field goal late, you know, and that's my fault. You know, I got 2 kickers that I rotate in there, and I try to go with who's got the hot leg at the time, you know. Both of them do a good job. But Dukes had been fabulous punting all night. He had kicked every kickoff in the end zone. and we got down the field goal. I went with our kid that's been kicking extra points, and he, nothing against him. He's a great kid, and he's made a lot of extra points for us and made a lot of field goals for us. But I probably should have gave Dukes the kick on that one because he had the hot leg at the time. But hindsight's 20/20, like we say.
Yeah.
But I trust both of them. I'll throw either one of them out there in any situation. But I thought Dukes did a great job hunting for us. He did a great job kicking off for us. I mean, you put the ball in the end zone, it forces teams to drive, and that's what we want. I feel like if we can't keep them from going 80, we don't deserve to stop them.
Yeah, they're a better team.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes that's the way it is, but you sure don't want to face it.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to prepare yourself, and you got a lot of preparation ahead of you. Of course, you learned a lot through the course of the season. 7 games. It doesn't even seem like it's been 7 games, Coach.
It flies by, don't it?
It sure does. It sure does. But, you tell the kids that. Once it starts, it's a moving train.
It is.
You better get ready. And each and every week, it looks like just about every kid has gotten better in some area.
Yeah,
if you look at it as a whole,
that's right.
Over 7 games, sure, everybody has an off game. Sure, you might could say, well, okay, you missed this one. They were faster than you on that one.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to get beat, Coach. That's just the way it is on a
right.
play.
That's right.
But, that's why it's a whole game. That's why it's 4 quarters. One thing I want to know is if you could maybe give them that same talk at halftime and get them to play every quarter like the 3rd quarter last week, man.
I thought we dominated the 3rd quarter. And really, other than they're real late, I thought we dominated the second half, But, the 3rd quarter, they came out and they responded. And I'm mostly at halftime. I thought our offense did a decent job all night. I really did. They were able to move the ball. They were able to pick up first downs, put points on the board. I thought special teams was good. I thought this was one of those games where my guys on defense kind of let us down.
Yeah.
And so I pulled them in at halftime, pulled the defense in the room, and I said, look, man, that's not Raider football. It's not what we do. We're physical. We hit people. We swarm to the ball. If they're going to throw up jump balls and beat us, fine, but they're not going to run the ball down our throat. And they responded at halftime and came out and really had several 3-and-outs in a row there in the 3rd quarter. And then late in the game, they hit us on a couple plays and got down there and punched one in the end zone, and were able to move it down late. But our defense did make a stand and hold them out and ultimately win the game for us. But we just needed to step up and do what we do. We didn't do a good job of that at times on Friday.
Well, Coach, you got some highlights for us, right?
Absolutely, yes,
All right,
sir.
we're going to take a short break and be back with some highlights from the last game.
I want to thank you for sending Matt Hatchett to the Georgia General Assembly. He's an outstanding member, and I selected him to be one of my floor leaders. And he's done an outstanding job trying to get legislation through the General Assembly, and we have some good things to show for it. One of the largest tax cuts in the history of the state of Georgia, reform of our criminal justice system, and many other important initiatives that Matt has been an important part of getting that passed.
I've been practicing mostly preventive and invasive cardiology. Example, the other day I had an elderly lady about 85 years of age who was referred to me because she had an abnormal stress test that was done at her family doctor's office, and she was not taking any medicine, and she was referred for a cardiac catheterization. Well, that's I consider inappropriate since the patient was not taking any medicines under the guidelines and under logic. The emphasis is on treating those patients with medications, and only if they fail medications would you then proceed to possibly further investigation, such as a cardiac catheterization or the need for a stent, which I do, or the need to send the patient for a bypass surgery at a tertiary center. I don't have a mission statement, but my statement is go through life and touch people positively and make a difference in somebody else's life. And that's how I practice, and that's how I live.
What if there was a paint that had the power to awaken something old, or painfully dated, or something you simply thought was lost forever, because it could form a strong bond regardless of age? If a paint could give any time-worn surface stunning new life, you have to wonder, is it still paint? Regal Select Exterior from Benjamin Moore.
Quality products and installation since 1985. That's 4 Seasons.
All right, we're going to check out some highlights here from Friday. Early on, I thought we did a good job against the run. We had several tackles for losses. In the middle, we were very physical early. There was a time in the game when we got a little soft, but I thought we did a real good job early on of really stuffing that inside, and we just got to learn to do that all the time. Not every once in a while. We got to be physical every play, and I think a lot of that just comes from having some guys in there that haven't played a whole lot, who've got to learn that every play counts, not just every once in a while. Did a real good job on their sweeps all night. They're a fast team. There's WDIG Jackson making a nice play on the edge, hustling and getting a good tackle out there. You know, he's an inside linebacker.
Man, he's had a good year.
He's had a great year for us. Yeah, definitely. And he's missed a couple games too with injury, but he's done an outstanding job. Again, they try to run the sweep, and we're just swarming, and we're stretching the thing out. And we got Dorian Gorham coming in here making a nice tackle. And that's what we got to do. You know, we're not going to be faster than a lot of people, but if we can stretch it out and slow those guys down, we'll have a chance. You know, absolutely. And it's a team effort. You know, we got to swarm to the football. We can't have one or two guys making tackles. Offensively here, nice throw and catch by AJ and Trent. And this play kind of epitomizes what we do. AJ to Trent Carr, just, you know, throw the ball 6-7 yards. And let's move the sticks, you know. That's kind of what we have to be good at, because we don't have those game breakers out there. A good, tough run right here, Dorian coming up the middle. And, again, Dorian's not the fastest kid in the world, so when he gets out in the open, we just tell him get as much as you can before they catch you. But he did a good job there. And you'll see offensive line, outstanding job here. Open, I mean, there's nothing there. That's just he's untouched, you know. And that's great. You know, I probably could have scored on that one.
But like you say, Coach, most of the time it is nickel and dime.
That is, you're right. And that's who we are. You know, we just got to understand that. Again, great job here, De'Eric Jackson, one-on-one on the edge coming up, making a big hit. And that's one thing I really like about our linebackers is generally they're going to come and thump you. And I think you've got to do that. You got to send a tone. He comes out, breaks down, grabs on and hangs on, and makes a good tackle. You know, we want to be physical. That's what we want to preach, and he did a good job there. Here, a little ill-advised throw, but a great catch by Ben Deal. You know, I tell AJ, please don't make that throw ever again,
scary,
because that's a pick six waiting to happen. But you know, he floated it over the defender, and Ben Deal made a great diving catch to get us a first down, the scary way. Another good job here by Dorian. He gets on the edge again, not the speediest kid, but a tough runner. And if he can pick up 7-8 yards of carry, we're absolutely fine with that. And again, good blocking on the edge by the offensive line. Noah Garnto there on the edge, sealing it and busting them open for the run. Defensively, again, great job by Q Mack fighting off a block and getting a tackle for a loss. Sometimes it's a shoestring tackle, but we'll take it, you know. But he beats a couple blocks here and is able to get in the legs of the running back and get him on the ground.
You know, sometimes on Q Mack, I don't know if he knows his potential.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He's got to learn it. If he'll just learn to hustle all the time, he'll be all right. Great pressure here by Ben Deal, forcing him to throw the ball early. Again, we talked about trying to mix in pressure, and Ben does a great job here of getting to the quarterback, making him throw it early, and McKinley Kemp's in great coverage there. Anytime you put the quarterback on the ground, you know, I'm happy. You know, I'm happy. But he did a good job there. Good coverage here. Again, Trent Carr coming off the edge, getting pressure on the quarterback, forcing him to make an ill-advised throw, and Eric Lattimore picks it off. And I thought he was going to get in here, but he did a good tough run, throwing off a tackler and getting the ball down around the 5-yard line. You set your offense up there, that's generally a good thing.
Yeah, once again, Carr's had a great year.
He really has.
Coach. He's performed.
Yep, Dorian Gorham coming in, big man, just taking the end zone. Not a lot of guys want to tackle him.
I just love that.
Oh, I do too.
Power set.
I like watching him get in there and just pound it.
Yeah.
No doubt. Maybe we'll one day get to a point here where we can base out of that and just run over people. We're working on it. Good job here by Dorian on defense, coming up and really stuffing the run. He and De'Eric, great job on the inside little power play. Step up and just fill the hole and get him on the ground. Again, I like those kids. They're physical. De'Eric's only a sophomore. It's going to be good having him the next 2 years. Excited to see what he grows into. Good protection here. Q Mack beats the block, gets a sack for us. And again, like you said, Q sometimes doesn't know how good he could be. If he would just get out of listening to that body that says, you know, I'm tired, let's stop, he could be great, you know. But good job there. Good coverage, too, by the secondary.
Coach, what size they had on that offensive line, the height?
Yeah, they were good. Their offensive line actually surprised me. They were a lot better than I thought they were going to be on film. Good job here. Screen pass, everybody just swarming, you know, getting them on the ground. 3rd and long, that's all. We'll give up a couple yards. Let's just keep them getting that first down. And that was a great job defensively. Again, here on defense, good job of stuffing the run inside, creating a pile, nowhere to run, and that's what we want. You know, we're a 3-4 defense. We're going to put 3 down linemen there, so they got to eat up blocks. You know, and they do a good job here of eating it up, causing a pile, and then those linebackers getting in there and finishing them off, and that's what we want.
It looked like Dacus on that one.
Yeah, Dacus
stuck his head in.
Absolutely. All night long, he did a great job of it. Again, great job on the read here, stuffing the run on the inside. I thought Dacus had a really good game. You know, he's oftentimes right there. There's him on the tackle in the middle. He's a little outsized in there. He's not your typical big defensive lineman, but he plays hard. Here, good job stretching out Ben Deal on the quarterback keep. Ben fighting off a block, forcing the quarterback to stop and dance a little bit and letting the pursuit get there. You know, we preach that a lot, that look, you know, if you're the first man there, make him stop, wrap him up, do something, because the cavalry's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we're not going to get 11 hats to the ball, you know, I'm not going to be a happy guy. Dorian Gorham, great job on the sack there. Again, one of those times we send a little pressure, and Dorian comes through, beats the guard on the block, and sacks the quarterback. Great job.
Seems like the more he hits, the better he does.
He does. He is. He's a very physical kid, and you know, he plays football with a lot of physicality, and you know, we appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Dorian Emmons getting the edge here. Again, not the prettiest, but you know, he's the workhorse. He's the workhorse, and we'll take it. You know, you get us down to the one, generally we can punch it in. We'll let him score this one instead of bringing the big boy in. You know, sometimes you earn the right to punch in the end zone when you get it down there, and he definitely earned it there. Good job by Dorian Edmonds. Defensively, again, great job stuffing the run on the inside. Several D linemen in there on that play. I thought we did a real good job most of the time. They were a great job. Sent some pressure. They ran right into it. And you see 4 or 5 hats on the tackle, and that's what we want. You know, we just got to learn to keep that intensity up all the time. Again, that's mostly Dorian Gorham just running through there, being very angry, which is what we like. What we like. Another good job here, good run. Again, 1 tackle to break, and he's probably housing that thing. But good, tough run. Great job by the O-line.
Yeah.
Opened up huge hole there. I mean, he's untouched all the way into the second level.
Yeah.
And I thought our O-line played really well. Thought, like you said, Miguel Butler came in, did a great job. There's Dorian again getting the edge on him, lowering his hat, and getting us down inside the 20. You know, then A.J. finishing off the drive. People don't realize A.J.'s a pretty good little athlete, you know.
Yeah. Oh, he is a good athlete.
He pulls that ball down, and
He was thrilled. That's his first rushing touchdown. That's his first touchdown?
It may be. I don't know.
I think, well,
I don't know.
if it's not, it's close. He acted like it was.
Yeah, he was excited. He was excited. We'll
but
take
you know,
it.
your offensive line, they have so much more confidence, so they
Absolutely.
should have more confidence now.
Absolutely.
Which is paying off.
Good job here of gang tackling, seeing all the hats, driving them back. That's what we want. Ben Deal's first one there. He and Christian Martin in on the tackle. Good job there, Derek Jackson. You can see him just come in there and lower his hat and make a great play. You know, good scrape and bam, just fit him up. And that's what we want. It's a good form tackle. Wrap him up, run your feet. You know, getting towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, you know, we made some mistakes, but we did some good things. Here, great coverage by the secondary. Linebackers step up and get a sack. Be Dacus and Derek Jackson in on that one. But good job defensively there. You know, they drive it down, and, you know, we got to make plays when they get it down towards the goal line. We did a good job here on the stretch. Again, I thought we played the stretch great all night, kept their speed kind of contained. We just couldn't contain that receiver they had.
Yeah, big play.
Yeah, he was an animal, you know. Great job here, A.J., another big run. You know, a little spin move, gets out of a tackle. I mean, that's tough, you know.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And defensively, you got a quarterback that can do that. It's tough. It puts pressure on you when you got a running quarterback out there. Again, Dorian on a sweep, cutting it under, making a great read, picking up a big first down.
That's beautiful.
And moving the ball down close, you know. Here, huge play late in the game. You know, we're up by 2. They're trying to take the lead here. Spencer Dacus getting a huge sack, driving them back to the 25 and setting us up for their last 4th down effort here. Rather than a 40-yard field goal, they're going to throw it up a couple times, and great coverage there on the good receiver. And then finally here, last play of the game. Great job coming up. We backed everybody off, and E.J. Holmes comes up, wraps up, hangs on, and we get him on the ground and win the football game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Coach, and that's why we call them highlights. We get to see the best of the best. There were a few things that you didn't put in there we need to work on, and that's true every week. But you walked away with a win. A lot of people call me after the game the next day. They said, "What happened down there with the chains?"
Well, it was funny because, you know, going back and looking on film, it's hard to tell, but it looked like the original spot would have been about a yard short. And they'd went ahead and signaled first down, and I asked for a measurement. So they went back and they measured it, but then they marked it at the wrong spot, and it came up like 7 yards short.
Yeah.
Which was, they were 5 yards off where they marked it. So my thing is, well, how do we know where the first down was? So they just went and picked a spot, measured it, and said first down. So I mean, I don't know what else to say about that except they moved the chains too early and didn't have the accurate mark down, and it's just a mistake. Those officials, they're humans. They take a beating from us coaches almost every Friday night. But they make mistakes, and it was a mistake. I hate that it was such a big one and a crucial part of the game, but I'm glad it didn't come back to bite us in the end.
Yeah, Coach, my story started out with, okay, the chain gang. They walked outside the gate on the street, and they just found the first 3 people walking by and said, come on in. You get to work the chain tonight, because they were never set.
And it's funny, too, because, they sent out a little memo, from Georgia High School about making sure you get quality guys to do that. So,
I don't know when they sent it out.
We may not be just this week, so we may not be the only ones who suffered a little bit from that. That's right.
Yeah, well, that was different. And fans go one way and then they want to boo and all, but you play the hand you dealt.
Yeah, and we don't know exactly whether it was a first down or not, because they'd already moved the chain, so.
Well, the radio station, from what they told me, didn't know it either. They never let on to exactly what happened and why it happened, but it was just a missed spot. And,
that's exactly what it was.
You just had to play from there. But going forward, Coach, we'll take a short break, and then we'll look at what we do on an off week and what's coming up with the next region game. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Score big with the Dublin Piggly Wiggly. Catch all the savings throughout the store. Score big with fresh produce, grocery items, dairy products, and don't fumble the handoff. Choose 100% certified Angus beef from Dublin Piggly Wiggly. Taste the difference today. Fresh food, friendly service, Piggly Wiggly.
%0 financing, and we'll just add it to your bill. Start saving today. It only makes sense. The City of Dublin Natural Gas.
We got savings to cheer about here at Dublin Nissan.
Dublin Nissan has the Titan Crew Cab discounted to as low as $33,988.
Call, click, or come see us. Dublin Nissan, the only dealer you will ever need.
At Bank of Dudley, we want to help with all your lending needs. Whether you're thinking of buying a new car, remodeling your home, or just want to go on vacation, let one of the many lenders at a Bank of Dudley branch near you help realize your dreams. Bank of Dudley, we're big enough to offer the great services you need, but small enough to make sure you can talk to someone you trust. Bank of Dudley with 5 convenient locations: East Dublin, downtown Dublin, and Veterans Boulevard, Dudley, and Jeffersonville. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
All right, welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here we are, Coach, again, 2-0 in the region. We have 3 games left, of course. We have this week off, and then we will face Mary Persons up there at their home. They're hard to beat there, but we've done it before.
Hard to beat anywhere.
And then at anything almost.
Right.
But hard-nosed football is what it's all about, Coach.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mary Persons a great team. We're off this week. They're off this week as well. So we both have 2 weeks, and I'm sure they're doing what we're doing, and we're working on Mary Persons this week. We'll practice 3 days this week. We usually take Monday and Friday off in the off week to kind of let our kids heal up and you get a breather and try and be fresh as we go down this final stretch. Mary Persons a great football team. They're one of the best teams on our schedule. They're as good as anybody we've played, if not better. Every year they have a tough team. They play hard-nosed football up there. They know what it's all about. And we've had some wars with them the last few years. A lot of games that have been within one score, we went up there in 2014 and stole one from them and won the region. And they paid us back the very next year. They came down here, stole one from us, and won the region. And, last year was a 14-2 game, really tight defensive battle. It was 7-2 late in the game, and they punched one in to seal it. And I hope that we can hang around with them, and have a chance to win at the end. That's the best we can ask. They're a good team. I think we're a good team. I think we got a long ways to go. But if we can go up there and we can just fight and hang with them and have a chance to win it at the end, I'll be happy.
Yeah, Coach, I think if players play, if they make the plays they're supposed to, and if you don't take plays off, that makes the biggest difference in the game.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Absolutely. They're they've got a lot of really athletic kids, and they've got a lot of big, strong linemen. So they're kind of like the perfect storm. It's hard for us. Sometimes we'll have a good line and not be quite as athletic outside. Sometimes we'll be athletic and not have the greatest line. But they seem to put it together every year, and that's why they're good every year.
Yeah.
And they're the kind of program we want to be that way. We want to get West Lawrence to that stage where every year we're putting it together. And we're not there yet, but we've come a long way in the past 5 or 6 years towards that, and hopefully, we can keep that rolling.
Yeah, and as tough as they are beatable.
Absolutely. Everybody's beatable on any Friday night, right?
Yes, that's right.
But yeah, they're tough to beat at home for sure. But we're going to go up there and we're going to play hard, and we're going to hopefully come out and hit them in the mouth and see what happens.
Okay, so this week, you implement first part of the week pretty much the same, but what's different in an off week?
You don't do as much contact in the off week. We're not out there just knocking each other around. We went shorts yesterday and shoulder pads, and we installed Mary Persons. Today we'll go full pads, but we'll shorten practice up a little bit. Make sure we're just reviewing what they do defensively, make sure that we understand offensively, where we need to be and who we need to block with their scheme that they're going to put out there, and just try and get all the mental stuff taken care of this week, and then next week really get back to focus on being physical. You don't want to get anybody hurt in the off week, but you don't want to go out there and just get soft either, so it's kind of a fine line you got to walk. But mainly we'll just shorten practice up a little bit. We'll contact today, and then tomorrow we'll be back in the shorts again as our JV and ninth grade will be gone. And we'll just get healthy, get fresh, and get ready to hopefully go win a game.
Yeah, need all the fans to travel as much as you can and get into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Late in the game where we're talking how everybody got into it on that last drive. It was all on the line. And it seems like fans will get into it when it's all on the line, but we need to encourage these young people through the course of the game. We need to make them feel good when that offensive line comes off and they're struggling. They're trying to get that rhythm. That's what it takes, and that extra man on the field, those fans hollering, makes a huge difference, doesn't it,
Yeah,
Coach?
a lot of people don't realize how much those kids feed off the energy that comes from the stands. When you get into an environment where the fans are in the game and they're yelling and they're getting after it and they're right there with you and what's going on, the kids feed off that and they'll play harder. That's just natural human nature. But we got great fans here and we appreciate their support. And that last drive in the fourth quarter when we had to make a big stop, it was great to hear them come to life, definitely.
Yeah, Coach, we appreciate what you do, and I hear all over the community, not only from just Raider fans, but from fans that wear other colors on Friday nights and throughout the week, that they're impressed with the job you're doing, with what's going on at West Lawrence High School, and we just want to keep it going.
They're telling you stories. Telling you stories.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate
Thank you.
you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us.
Allen's Heating and Air is your licensed Amana equipment dealer. Trust Allen's Heating and Air to install and service your heating and air conditioning unit. Allen services all brands. With the purchase of a new Amana unit, you'll get a lifetime warranty on the compressor. Allen's Heating and Air. Call Sean Clark or any of his friendly staff at Allen's Heating and Air. Amana Heating and Air Conditioners. Last and last and last.